What's going on, everyone? So, the Los Angeles Lakers' new ownership group of Bob Iger, as well as a Josh Kushner.
Big whispers started immediately when Bob Iger and Josh Kushner's group took over the Lakers. Was this just a quick flip for profit, or a genuine long-term vision? Fans, especially with LeBron's uncertain future, were desperate for answers. But what they just said in their company email exposes exactly why everyone, including LeBron, should be looking over their shoulder.
This business investment, right? These are guys that are coming in that don't really care about the basketball side of things. They'll probably try to flip it at some point.
That's the initial fear, right? These are venture capitalists. They're not lifelong basketball fanatics. They're money movers. The assumption that they'd just try to optimize the asset and flip it for a quick buck was rampant, especially after the Dodgers' previous ownership saga. But here's what makes this even crazier. The email directly addresses this exact skepticism, trying to calm the waters.
Ended up pivoting to the Lakers. But according to this email, that's just not the case. They in fact do look at this as a long-term answer, a long-term kind of ordeal, that this isn't something that is...
So they want us to believe this is a long-term play, not a quick flip. A carefully crafted email sent internally, then conveniently leaked to the press, is a classic PR move. It's meant to shape the narrative, but astute fans know to look beyond the corporate speak. And that's not even the worst part. The specific language they use, particularly around Thrive Eternal, reveals a deeper, more unsettling strategy.
Go in this email. Assets counterpositioned to transformation. This is the work of Thrive Eternal.
Transformation. Thrive Eternal. This isn't just about owning a basketball team. It's about owning a cultural institution and molding it to fit a new economic landscape. They're talking about transformation in a world driven by AI and abundant intelligence. This isn't just about ticket sales. It's about reshaping the very experience of being a Lakers fan. You have to wonder what that transformation truly entails.
World where content and software becomes easier to create, assets rooted in identity, culture, community, history, and physical experience may become more valuable.
Assets rooted in identity, culture, community, history, and physical experience becoming more valuable. The Lakers embody all of this. They are the quintessential NBA brand. But more valuable to whom? To the fans, or to the investors who can leverage these deeply embedded assets for their own long-term, profit-driven, Thrive Eternal vision? The language is very telling about how they view the Lakers, not as a team, but as a sacred human experience to be monetized.
Time. The objective is not to buy, optimize, and sell.
Now, most people hear that and think, okay, so they're not just flipping it. That's good, right? But watch what happens next. The objective isn't to buy, optimize, and sell in the short term, but rather to steward them towards a very long period of time. This isn't a simple buy and hold. It's a strategic long-game investment where the Lakers become the foundational pillar in a much larger portfolio. It's a different kind of ambition, one that still might not align with winning above all else.
We intentionally chose a permanent capital structure because the assets we want to own deserve a time horizon measured in decades.
Decades. This isn't a 2-year plan, it's a generational one. This permanent capital structure signifies that they see the Lakers as a bedrock asset, like prime real estate or blue-chip stock, something to be managed and grown over an extremely long horizon. But the immediate question for fans is, how does this long-term business strategy impact LeBron's final years in the pursuit of championships now? We've seen owners prioritize future value over immediate success, and that's a dangerous game in the NBA.
No owner in the history of any sport was like, oh, I'm going to buy this just so I can lose billions every year, just because it'd be fun to own an NBA team, right? No, they're buying it as an asset, as an investment, as a business.
Of course, every owner sees their team as a business. That's not the controversial part. No one buys an NBA team to lose money. But the crucial distinction lies in how they prioritize that business. Is it through winning, which naturally generates revenue, or through optimizing the asset via other means, potentially at the expense of roster flexibility, luxury tax payments, or aggressive moves? The email's focus on long-term asset management rather than championship pursuit raises eyebrows.
Everyone was like, why are all the hirings business side? Because that's the most important. Right? For several reasons. One, it is a business. Two, If it doesn't make money, you're not going to have a good product on the basketball court. You need to generate the revenue. You need to generate the asset.
This is where the rubber meets the road. Financial stability and revenue generation should lead to a better on-court product. But the Dodgers comparison is vital here. Mark Walter inherited a team in bankruptcy and built it into a contender by first stabilizing the business. The Lakers aren't in bankruptcy. They are one of the most profitable franchises. The question isn't if they'll generate revenue, but how much of that revenue will directly flow back into competitive spending to build a championship team around LeBron and beyond. This is the expert analysis that separates true contenders from pretenders.
Success, but at the end of the day, it's a business. It just so happens that the best form of business is winning in sports.
This is the ideal scenario for fans. Winning equals business success. More playoff games, more merchandise, more sponsorships. It's a symbiotic relationship. But what if the owners believe they can achieve significant business growth through brand activations, global expansion, or technological integration, even if the team isn't winning championships every year? The email's emphasis on cultural assets suggests they might see other avenues for maximizing value, potentially sidelining the immediate on-court product. Remember, the Knicks are one of the most valuable teams, often without winning.
Well, your dollar is going to get stretched the longest. Right? But also, again, you don't become successful in business to the level that, these owners that are buying all these teams, you don't get to that without competitiveness. You don't become a billionaire unless you have a level of competitiveness to you.
You don't become a billionaire without being fiercely competitive. That's an undeniable truth in business. So yes, these owners likely want to win. There's an ego, a drive for success that comes with that level of accomplishment. But wanting to win, and making the necessary, often expensive, decisions to actually achieve winning are two very different things in the modern NBA, especially when the luxury tax looms. It's the cost of winning that truly separates ownership groups.
There's a certain level of ego that comes with it. There's a certain level of all these things. You don't think that Bob Iger and Josh Kushner don't want to walk around and go like, yeah, champion Lakers, we bought it, flipped it over, had it won in 6-7 years, came in, boom, you don't think that they want to do it. You don't think Mark Walter wanted that? You don't think Mark Walter's bragging to everybody about how great the Dodgers are and how, man, we're winning every year and best team in sports and this, that, and the other, have a dynasty? You don't think that that's not brag worthy?
The bragging rights of a championship are immense, both personally and for the brand. Mark Walter's Dodgers are the gold standard for consistent winning in baseball. But basketball, with its hard cap realities and superstar-driven market, operates differently. The email subtly highlights a different kind of bragging right, the long-term stewardship of a global cultural asset. This might be a more important victory for them than a singular trophy.
About anything, right? But a big market like the Lakers, you need to win, because you're not making as much money as you would if you're winning.
The big market team like the Lakers needs to win. The fan base demands it, and the financial potential is astronomically higher with a winning product. The pressure is immense. The email's narrative about long-term stewardship could be a strategic way to manage expectations, implicitly asking for patience while they implement their Thrive Eternal vision. But patience isn't something Lakers fans or LeBron James have in abundance right now. This is where their long-term plan clashes directly with the immediate demands of a championship window.
Yes, I had a little more confidence with Mark Walter because he was proven on a sports level, but baseball isn't basketball. Yes, there's similarities as far as the business side of things. And
Mark Walter had a proven track record in sports with the Dodgers. That gave fans a level of confidence. But the comparison between baseball and basketball is flawed, especially when it comes to roster construction. Baseball allows for massive spending on individual players without the same hard cap limitations. You can simply buy the best talent. Basketball is a different beast, requiring intricate cap management and an understanding of team chemistry that huge free agent signings don't always guarantee. The email's generic business language doesn't instill specific confidence in their basketball IQ.
Who's the best player in baseball we don't have? Yeah, let's bring him in. You can't do that in basketball.
This is the ultimate betrayal for LeBron. He came to the Lakers to win in a system that theoretically allowed for maximal talent acquisition. The Dodgers model of simply acquiring the best talent, as described here, is simply not feasible in the NBA. This leaked email suggests a long-term asset management approach that could easily de-emphasize the immediate aggressive win-now moves needed to capitalize on LeBron's final years. It's a silent, strategic betrayal, prioritizing the brand's eternal value over LeBron's finite championship window.
Continued, right? Basically, they're just coming in, business as usual, take a step back and evaluate. We won't really probably see or hear anything till next offseason.
Business as usual, take a step back and evaluate. This is boilerplate corporate speak, and it essentially means a pause. A pause for the Lakers, a team currently in a championship window with LeBron James, is a dangerous proposition. It signals that immediate, impactful changes are not their priority. LeBron signed for immediate contention, not to be a steward for a decades-long corporate reevaluation. The very premise of the leaked email is designed to reassure, but for a critical eye, it reveals a stark disconnect between ownership's long-term vision and LeBron's urgency.